Oh shit, she got that lighter. Cool wheel, taking me higher. I want some more, she ride it slow, I call it goodie. That she could can, gave me a buzz, she call it wood.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Paige, yours truly, Paige Simone, and I'm back today with a story time. Okay, I got a story for you guys. So what I did was I went on my IG and I posted a poll for, you know, what story people wanted to hear. I just went real blank for a second, so don't judge. But I asked people what story they wanted to hear first. I posted 3 options. Out of the 3 options, the one story that everybody picked was,
why did I really get out the Navy?
but before we begin, I want to let you guys know, I'm home and I'm on mommy duty. So you're gonna hear little mama in the background talking, or you're gonna hear the TV, or you might just hear a jet. You know, I live in the real world where things happen all the time. So excuse me if things get a little hectic. Back to the story. Now, I went into the Navy in 2014. I was a fresh 22 years old, y'all. Skinny little thing. So I went to the Navy when I was 22. I went in September of 2014. So what I'm going to give you guys is just a little backstory before I just hop straight into why I really got out. You guys, boot camp, for any of the people that's actually considering going into the Navy, for, you know, boot camp is cake. Don't trip. You will make it. It will end. Okay? Boot camp, like I said, was cake. Got to A school. A school was cake. That's where I met my best friend, my husband, my everything. You know, that's where I met Bay. Well, I kind of met him in boot camp, but I met Bay. That's when me and him became like this. Like, we were just, yeah, whole nother story. If y'all want to know, let me know. Anywho, but A school was cool, you know? So A school was like fun. You finally out of boot camp, you got your phone back and stuff. You know, you out here living life. You back on social media. You know, you making friends. Some people that was going to the same location you were, some people that weren't. So for me, I knew in boot camp when I was going, like where I was going to my duty station. So like I knew which I was stationed in Washington State, not Washington DC, Washington State. And my dog and my child, you know, fur baby child. Okay, I was stationed in Washington State. So yeah, beautiful state, loved it. Loved Seattle. So if anybody wants to go there, I do recommend. 2 thumbs up. So got there. So my ship, I was on a mother freaking aircraft carrier. We're just gonna take a moment of silence. So the first couple of months were good. Like I was always like, I don't want to say I was an overachiever, but I was always just the type of person, like if this was my job, this was what I was told to do, I just did it. It wasn't too much of like, why and how come and this and this and this. Like it wasn't too much of that. So I had a great little job. I didn't have an actual rate, which is your actual job, but I had a good little job on the ship. So I was happy where I was. I was happy with the people that I was working with for the most part, except for some of the guys. Some of the guys irritated me a lot. A lot. So then workups started. So workups are like when your ship is pretty much in and out. And workups is just really like preparing your ship for deployment. I don't know if this is too much information. Anywho, it's just preparing your ship for deployment. So we were doing that. We were doing a lot of workups. In the midst of all these workups, I think that's when you start to stress a little bit. And I wouldn't say it's just me. I feel like everybody's stressing because you're out to sea. You're not talking to the people that you really want to talk to. You're in a confined place. You're living in a small ass bed. And you're working. Sometimes you work with people you don't want to work with. And you live with the people you work with. So it's like you have no time to yourself. Like unless you're with the people you care about or work with, that like that's your friend, cool. But you with hoes that you just don't like, okay? You working with hoes that just gets on your motherfucking nerves. So we're gonna fast forward to maybe like I don't even have like great dates or anything. We're gonna fast forward to like, I don't know, a couple months from then, to where like I was at a happy place. We're gonna say like 3 months from then. So we were preparing. We went on, I think, our longest underway, our longest little workup or whatever you want to call it. Our longest underway. During the longest underway that we had, my mom started to fall ill, right? So in that moment, like, the thing is with the military, in which I want anybody to consider,
Your life is not your own no more.
they tell you to go, you go. They tell you to jump, motherfucker, you say how high. Like, that's just what it is. So when you're out, like, even though my mom was sick, my mom had a huge surgery in which I was like really concerned. I knew what was going on. My mom tried to keep me in the loop. But it was only so much communication. Like, I was really stressed the freak out. Like, it just had me to the point where it was like, why did I do this? I was just in a really miserable place because I was in just a weird spot of like, why did I really sign up for this? Like, shit, we don't get paid that much, you know? So that started the downfall. So that started, and then I just randomly, I don't want to say I randomly felt depressed, but my anxiety kicked in. Now, I've never dealt with, at least to my knowledge, I never dealt with anxiety nor depression in my younger years. Like, that was just not something I dealt with, or it was just swept under the rug, you know? It was one or the other, but it just wasn't, it didn't take effect on me. So around this time, my anxiety kicked in over freaking drive. So I started seeing the ship's psychiatrist. Worst medical doctors in the history of the world is probably in the Navy on the ship. I'm just going to be honest. Worst doctors. You would probably be like, you know what? I'm better off just amputating my leg or my arm myself, or doing the surgery myself, or diagnosing myself. Worst doctors. They just seem not to really give a crap. So I went to the ship psychiatrist, and we tried to work through like everything that I was feeling, you know, everything that was going on. Again, it was like drama within my division with some of my friends, so stuff like that was happening. It was just a lot, you know, so at least I started feeling like it's a lot. And then again, like, the people that you want to be with, you can't be with. Like, it's just, it doesn't happen. Like I said, my fiance was all the way in Japan at the time. Well, my husband now, he was all the way in Japan at the time. So it was just kind of like we were on different schedules and everything. Communication was at a minimum. Like, it just did not really happen. So like I said, we were working on stuff. Tried working. Then I started to fall like super depressed. So my first early signs of being depressed was like, I just stopped caring, you guys. And I have friends, Kayla, Marquita, y'all, if y'all watching this, y'all can vow. Like, I literally stopped freaking caring. Like, and these was my friends, they were higher ranked than me, but I always tried to like work. I worked my ass off. That was one thing nobody could take away from me. When I say I stopped caring, y'all, like, it was no care whatsoever. So I just stopped caring about everything. It was just like, okay, fuck this. Sorry. It was just like, F this. It was like, why am I here? I don't want to do this. Like, I don't care. Whatever. I also was feeling like my psychiatrist was trying, like, I felt as though she wasn't putting the effort in that she really could have put in to really try and help me. So I just stopped caring. So then my psychiatrist said, sorry, I'm just looking at baby girl. So then one day I go back to my psychiatrist, and at this point I started to really experience suicidal thoughts. So I started to experience suicidal thoughts, and that I went and told my psychiatrist. So we came up with a plan, and this was pretty much right before deployment, so like a month, I'm gonna say. we came up with a plan that I was going to stay behind for deployment, and they were going to fly me out after we had a good treatment plan for me to continue on. Yeah, tell them, Mama. Okay, so yeah, we had a good plan. That was the plan. Well, y'all, this is when the shit hit the fan. So we're going to say like 2 days. We're going to say 2 freaking days before deployment. I already had what is it called? A chit routed up that I was leaving the ship for the time frame. I packed all my sea bags and stuff off the ship because I was supposed to fly in. I wasn't supposed to be on the ship when the ship left. So a day before we left, my chief, now I remember his freaking name. I couldn't remember his name the other day. Chief freaking Lamar, whatever his freaking name is. You know who you are. I don't like you. But Chief comes to me and says, my maiden name was Cross, you guys. So Cross, you have to go back to the barracks and get your sea bag. So I'm staring at him. I've been talking to my Divo, which is an officer, about everything. And my chief was getting filled in because me and my chief at this point, like I said, I stopped caring. So at this point, I wasn't going to him, in which you're not supposed to do. Don't do what I did. Don't start skipping rank, y'all. So he was just filling him in on everything. So my chief comes to me and says this, and then the time frame of him saying this, like, again, I was just in a really vulnerable, irritated, messed up, depressive state. He said it, and I legit looked at him and told him, like, no. Called my fiance, in which I was able to get in contact with him. Had a total breakdown, and like my chief was telling my friends, tell Cross to go get her stuff, or I'm going to cost the ship's security. So literally while I was walking, I was like getting myself together. I walked out. My chief started talking to me, and I didn't stop. I just kept going because I was like, at this point, it is what it is. He already called the freaking ship security on me. So I'm walking down the steps, and security was like, you're coming with us. Boop, boop, lock me up, right? And so I get locked up, and they drag my little butt all the way down and lock me inside their little room, made me fill out paperwork, all this stuff, because I was not dealing with my chief. After that, they released me. I had to go get my sea bag and stuff. Got my stuff, and got back to the ship. So you guys, pretty much at this point, I was done. I was like, I'm not going to do this. I really just felt as though like the Navy, the military is going to try and take everything out of you. They're going to strip you for everything you can. The most you could do, or the best thing you could do, is try and get everything back out of it. Everything you can get out of the Navy. So at that point, I'm like, if you are a doctor or whoever, y'all, the best thing y'all could have did was try and help me. I had no intentions on actually getting out. Like, I did not go to my chief and say, oh, I want to get out the Navy. Or I never did none of that. I never, like, put myself out there to say, I want to get out. It came down to my psychiatrist and everything. And my psychiatrist, pretty much putting in an admin step, a medical discharge. Like, she put it in through legal, and legal contacted me and asked me to sign some papers, and the papers were pretty much like, you're going to get medically separated, and that was pretty much it. Once I actually got out and started to do my research, they really screwed me over. I mean, I got my honorable discharge, all that great stuff, but they kind of screwed me over because if I had wanted any chance to try and go back in, it was like 1,001 steps for me to try and go back in. So at one point before me having my daughter, I did consider on going back in. I talked to my friends about it. It was a big thing. I talked to my husband about it, like, hey, this might just be it, because I never had no real intentions on getting out. Like, I really still to this day, if I would have stayed in, like, my thought process would have still been trying to do my 20. I had no real intention. Like, I knew what my goal was, and that's what it was. Unfortunately, my mental health just really kicked into overdrive, and me being in was not the safe thing. So that's why I got out, you guys, because I deal with anxiety and depression. So that's what it is. Do I regret anything? No. Do I still wish I was in? Sometimes, not all the time, not as much as I did when I first got out. When I first got out, I still was dealing with like my depression and stuff really hard. Like it kicked in. It was even worse once I got out. Like it was just bad, because then at that point you're like, I got out, what am I gonna do? Trying to work, trying to find a job, trying to do this, trying to get my life together, it was just a lot. So my depression kicked in over time when I got out too. So like, do I miss being in? I'm gonna say more so for my people. Like some of the people that I was in with, you guys were the best like people or friends and everything, sisters at this point that I've ever met. Like I love you guys. Y'all really helped me down, and y'all still to this day, like all the people that I consider a friend that I was in the Navy with, we still are in contact. Some of us is out and made our own families. Some of my friends are still in. And some of my friends are just living their damn lives, so you know, do you. So sorry. So yeah, that was the reason why I got out the Navy. And that is pretty much it, you guys. That was my story time for the day. I will be back. I will be back next week. Next week, I'll actually have a makeup video up. So I'm going to be doing makeup videos. I don't want people to think it's always going to be about me talking. I'm going to have a makeup video up. And my makeup video will be my everyday makeup routine. So that's what it's going to be, y'all. So I'm so happy you guys tuned in. Y'all know I love you guys. I love my subscribers. I love my IG family that actually interact with me. And y'all know who y'all are. And yeah, so I really appreciate you guys for actually participating in the poll. And I would put more polls up because I really do care about what you guys want to see, and that makes a huge difference for me. I'm not going to post things and y'all be like, why is she posting this? Ugh, nobody wants to watch this. You know, I'm going to post the stuff that I can post that you guys want to see. I'm here for y'all, and y'all should be here for me because I like pleasing you guys. So yeah, again, thanks you guys, and thank you for putting up with me and my baby girl. Y'all know she made all the noise in the world, and bye.
She got that good, capital one, eye of the tiger.